Hey, what's up everyone? Today let's check out the new Audio Salt Sigma EX in the full mix. Alright guys, so what you just heard was a song from Godsmack called Straight Outta Line. And I'm using the Audio Salt Sigma EX amp sim that was just updated for this mix. So let me show you what I have going on in these tracks, like I always do. That'll conclude the video. So my master track, I'm running this SSL XEQ2 is the first plugin in my chain. Next, I'm running this bus compressor, but again by SSL native, just to glue everything up, 3:1 compression ratio. And I'm running about, I don't know, 3 to 4 dB of reduction, pretty much. That's about it, really. Then I'm running into this EQ4 by Meg, just on this air band, just to give it more air, more openness. Following up, going into this X Saturator plugin, again by SSL. As you guys know, I really like using SSL plugins a lot, as well as Plugin Alliance Brainworks plugins. I really enjoy using these plugins. It really speeds up my workflow, if you will. Again, going into another SSL Fusion plugin. This is a stereo imaging plugin, which is pretty nice. Then lastly, I'm going into this Pro L2 limiter to set my overall loudness. So these two plugins right here, this Ulean loudness meter, I just use this to, verify where I'm at when I mix and master. Make sure all my numbers are good. Even though that's not like carved in stone, right? You could, whatever sounds good is good. Then I'm going into this plugin right here, just for more visuals, that's all. But these two plugins don't affect the sound whatsoever. So that's that in my master track, pretty straightforward. So I have these drum tracks right here, as you can see in this pink color, your kick drum, snare, 3 times, hi-hat, ride, and your overheads. These are all feeding into this drum bus right here, where I'm running smash and grab by Get Good Drums and a parallel compression setting, as I always usually do on my drum tracks, just to give it a little bit more oomph, bottom end to it. All right. So the kick drum. Oh, by the way, all these drum pieces are EQ'd, so everything sits in its own home, if you will. So this kick drum, I have it high passed at 40 hertz, low passed at 9600 hertz, give or take. And then I have this bumped up right here at about 8700 hertz, just to make it, give it a little bit of a snap to it. And then going into the smash and grab. That's a kick drum, right? Compressor, if you will. Same thing like on the snare. Everything is EQ'd, like I said. High pass, low pass, with a little bit of an increase at 8800 hertz, an increase at 298 hertz. Again, going into the smash and grab. I like using these smash and grab plugins a lot on drums. If I have separate tracks. If I just have MIDI, like I'm running Superior Drummer 3 or some other software, then I don't use it. So my kick drum, my snare, and my toms, right, are the ones that are feeding into this drum bus right here. My hi-hats, my hi-hat, ride, and overhead are not going into that parallel compression track, if you will. So here's the toms. EQ, again, with this smash and grab, right? You're kind of getting the idea how I do this. Everything's EQ'd, like I said. There you go again. Lastly, with this tom, right? So the hi-hat, I'm running this new Waves EV2 channel strip plugin, again, SSL based. Doing a little bit of EQing, a little bit of compression. Pretty much it. A little bit of filtering. I am running the EQ in front of the compressor, as you see. That's why this is lit. It says split. It brings the EQ in front of the compressor. And that's all I'm running on this. And the ride, same thing. I'm using another instance of Waves Solid State Logic EV2. Alright, as you can see. I know this is kind of boring stuff on the drums, right? So on the overheads, I'm just running this EQ. High pass that about 100 hertz. Then I have a shelf right here, about 12K to, I don't know, all the way up, as you can see. But very little, probably, I don't know, maybe 2 dB slope. And then again, smash and grab, right? So that's it for the drums. So for bass, I'm running 2 bass tracks. One's more of a cleanish, lowish tone, if you will. The other one's more distorted, going into this bass bus right here, where I'm just applying EQ, high passing at 60 hertz, low passing at 4400 hertz, and I dip down at about 200 hertz. Then I'm going into one of my favorite 1176 style compressors. This is the MC 77 or Purple Audio MC 77 from Plug-in Alliance. It's a really nice compressor. Again, just to give it a little bit more bottom end balls to my bass tone. So that's it. That's the only two things I have on that bass bus. So first, I'm running this neural DSP parallax on this arc reactor preset, and I did, I changed some stuff around, but not much. Right, I really like how that sounds. That's the cab section for it. And again, I run bass all different ways depending on what I'm doing. Sometimes I like using the submission audio stuff, which I love. Sometimes this, right? Sometimes easy bass, sometimes moto bass, whatever, clank, whatever I feel like using on that particular mix or day. There's no wrong or right, whatever sounds good to you. So that's how I go about it, right? Then for the distorted bass tone, I'm running Mammoth. I really like this plugin a lot for a distorted bass tone. So these are my settings, as you can see. All right, I always use this, mostly. All right, cool. So let's get into the guitar bus. So I have these two rhythm guitar tracks right here. They're playing left and right, 100%. Going into this bus. High pass at 100, low pass 7600. Pre-amp EQ. So this is the new updated Audio Salt Sigma EX amp, which I really like. 3-channel clean crunch lead. I have everything on lead. These are my settings. Low and high pass filters. Gain is always at noon or below noon. I have no reason to have it higher than that. Your bass, mid, treble, presence, resonance, master, focus, which acts kind of like a presence. So in front of the amp, I'm running this right here, overdrive. It's not your typical way, right? And then for the cabs, usually I run like a third party IR, but I'm like, fuck it. Let me just run everything within the amp sim, right? So this is the 3D cab update that they came up with, which I really like a lot. I mean, you could get all sorts of tones from, these 3D cabs. But if you don't want to use these 3D cabs, you could also use the IRs, right? Whatever you like, and you could load your own stuff too. But I chose to use this today. I did do a little bit of high pass at about 100 hertz. I low passed this cab at like 10,000 hertz because it was a little bit fizzy. I wanted to clean it up a little bit. All right, so this is the Sigma cab. This is the orange cab, and I think this is like a Wagner cab. I might be wrong, but yeah, I really like this a lot. And then in the effects area section, I'm running a little bit of EQ, little chorus, but I'm using it more of a whining effect, more so than a chorusing effect. So that's that, guys. That's how I have that set up. Then I'm going into another Pro Q3 EQ. Again, high pass and low pass. I notched out some frequencies I did not like. And I also have this notch out at, 500 hertz or so. As you can see. Multi-band compression. Just to tame the palm mutes, right? Because I don't want that bass like spiking too much, like around this region. So what that multi-band does is it cleans up the bass over here and drops it down, right? So I usually use a Puig Tech or Pultec EQ after my multi-band compressor. So I just bought this Better Maker EQ on sale, which I really like a lot, and which is a Pultec EQ. So I am not running high pass filters, EQs at all. As you can see, they're off. The only thing I am running is this right here, the Pultec section, right? And it's running in stereo, as you can see. So yeah, this is just basically a Pultec EQ, like all the other ones you guys probably have seen already. But the quality of this is very good. That's why I use it. So yeah, as you guys know, I do like using a lot of plug-in alliance stuff, you know, and SSL stuff. I really like the quality of that stuff, even though I can use stock plugins or free plugins or any other type of plugins. And there's no wrong or right what plugins you use. This is what I like to use. You know, and I'm not here to tell you like what to use. You can use whatever you like. But yeah, everyone's different, right? Or else we all be using the same shit. And then how fun would that be? Going into this soft tube Wise MM1 maximizer. Alright. Then finally I'm using a little bit of Pro L2 limiting. Even though I don't have to, but I did. I like how it sounds. Alright. So that's that. So these two tracks, they're DI tracks. They're just feeding right into this guitar bus. And then there's two more guitar left and right. I mean, sorry about that. There's two more like lead filler guitar parts. They're panned straight up the middle, going into this lead guitar bus. Same idea though with the pre-EQ, post-EQ. But this time, instead of 100 hertz and the high pass, I'm at 150 and 7600. Again, here's that Sigma amp. Alright. I increased the mids a little bit on it for these guitar tracks. And everything else is pretty much the same. And then I added some delay as well. Alright. I like how that sounds. Here you go. Here's the other post amp EQ, if you will. Same idea, right? 150, right? Again, the Better Maker EQ. Wise MM1. Pro L2, right? That's that. And then finally, this last track, guitar solo track. The same thing, guys. Same idea. Pre-EQ. Amp, right? As you can see, turned up the mids on this as well. You know, some delay, chorus, little EQ. You know, I put this up a little bit too, the overdrive pedal. Right? And then again, post EQ, Better Maker, MM1, and the Pro L2 limiter, right? So if you don't want to use like these plugins like this, right? What I would suggest is to use a pre-EQ, the amp, a post-EQ. But you know what's sweet to use? Is this, saturator plugin I showed you on my master track by SSL. That sounds killer on guitars as well. Give that a try. Alright. So, yeah, if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, like, share my content as always. Don't forget to hit that notification bell because I don't really upload on a schedule. It's kind of difficult for me to do that with working and all the other bullshit that goes on in my life. So, yeah, I really appreciate your support. And, yeah, till next time, another amp, some review, another mix. I'll catch you guys later. See ya.